got dance shoes on because, you know, I'm going to dance. I'm going to actually dance. Let's see how that goes. Today's video, normally we talk about the things that you should do technically, as far as your technique and strength and all that sort of stuff goes in dance. Today I want to talk about things not to do in everybody's favorite step, pirouettes. I say that very, very sarcastically because they're not everyone's favorite step. I used to love doing turns, and then my arthritis got really bad and I now have chronic Achilles tendonitis in both my Achilles tendons. So anything with a releve is just not a favorite. It's not, it hurts a lot. But it's got me thinking a lot about the things that we really shouldn't do. These tips can be applied to your standard jazz pirouette in passe, ballet pirouettes turned out, but they can also be applied to an extent in travelling turns, so chaînés, posés, piqués, those sorts of things, and in a la seconde and fouetté turns. I've tried to keep the tips non-specific so that it's more universal turning type steps. Okay? So here are my top 5 things that you should not do in pirouettes. This is coming from as a dance judge. I see this all the time and it's so annoying. Don't pop your heel in your prep. So annoying. So I see people doing this when you're in the prep. So jazz pirouette, you're in your prep, but they're actually doing this. No, this, no, don't do that. I think what's happening is their focus is on putting the weight in the toe of the front foot. That's great. Absolutely, you should be doing that. But the problem is you want to get strength, power, and push. The momentum comes from the plie in your prep, which means if you're doing this, you're actually pushing more weight into your back foot because that's where you've got the most stability. That's your full foot on the floor as your base of support. So here, you're not actually getting much strength in this leg. I'm going to do it the opposite way. What it should be is completely the opposite of that, okay? If any heel is popped, it's the back one. All right, and in ballet, it should be, if you're going from an open position, both feet here. What you need to do is, the heel of the foot definitely touches the ground in a plie. And it gives, when it touches the ground, it gives you full push. But there are 3 points of your foot, the base of your foot, that need to be touching the ground. And all 3 points should have equal distribution of weight. 2 of those points though, they're a triangle. 2 of those points are in the balls of the feet. They're in your toes, that area there, okay? So it's not that your heel shouldn't be on the ground. It's that 2/3 of the weight should be pushed into the front of the foot and only 1/3 into the heel, okay? So it's the difference between half in the front, half in the back. No, not that, because then you've got too much in the back. Distribute it between the 3 points. This gives you a stable position. We're not here in that foot, we're here. And this is the same as if you're in turnout or anything, all right? And then you're already got the majority of your weight in the front of the foot to go up into your passe or into your retire. The other reason why I hate the popped heel is it's putting too much pressure into the shin and you're gonna get shin splints. So stop it. Okay, it's not functional and aesthetically it looks ick, so don't do it. No. Number 2 is when you're not using your upper back to support the arms, okay? If you use the biceps and the shoulder muscles to get strong position of the arms, you're not actually going to connect your arms to your torso and your core. So your arms are going to be a lot more separated from the rest of your body, and you want to get that connection in. So if you're actually using your arms correctly, anytime you use your arms, the use of the arms should come from the upper back, okay? That's where it comes from. All right, so we should be supporting it here. What that does is pull this in, pull it in and down. It connects into the lower back, the hips, the core, and it connects your arms into that so that you get stability and lift in this pirouette position rather than just this pushing forward sort of ick position that's not actually going to be useful, okay? So make sure your arms are supported from your upper back. Lifting the hip in retire, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Yes, a high passe or a high retire position will make your turns tighter because you're not having this pull down of the foot. But if you compensate with lifting your hip even slightly, it will throw off your balance. We need to remember that our core, which we'll talk about that in a minute, but core stability is really important, but your core is not here in the stomach, it's lower down that you need to focus on, and your pelvis is absolutely part of that. So if you're lifting your hip to get your leg into retire or passe, whatever you want to call it, whether you're in turnout or parallel, if you lift that hip at all, it will throw your balance off. Even a tiny bit like that, it's a tiny little hip lift. It's not going to make a huge impact if you're just doing a single. Not going to make a huge impact. It might not even impact much if you're doing a double. It will definitely impact when you're doing anything more than that, definitely. And it will absolutely kill any kind of fouette or a la seconde continuous turn. You're not going to get it because your balance will go this way, just slightly that way, just slightly, boom, out. All right, so you want to make sure that when you're lifting the leg, you're using the hamstring, not the hip or the top of the quad, okay? We're going from underneath in here so that this can stay stable as that leg goes up. No, number 4 is focusing too much on the core. Core stability is crucial in dancing, no matter what step you're doing. But some teachers just focus way too much on it, that it just becomes about kind of like this, and there's like, and it's like if you can just get your torso to be nice and grr, then you're going to be able to do heaps of turns, and you might be able to do like 6 pirouettes, but if you can't integrate them into the rest of your dance, it just becomes too, it's not dancing. Okay, it's not dancing. So absolutely need to focus on the core, absolutely. But we also need to focus on how things connect to the core. Like I was saying with the passe position and the arms, you've got to make sure that those things are given just as much time as core strength. Okay, and make sure your students know that having strong core muscles is not going to mean that they will be able to do 32 fouettes. Okay, there's so much else going on. If they want to be able to do this stuff, it's not just a matter of doing heaps of sit-ups and getting a six-pack. It's not going to help. It's not going to do it for you. You've got to make sure that they're working everything. Pirouettes are hard. Pirouettes are detailed and they're hard. And you've got to work for it. Okay, but you've got to make sure you're working on the right things. So don't just be focusing on core. Learn how everything else connects to the core. And number 5 is letting fear get in the way. So often, the actual problem with a pirouette or a turn combo is psychological. It's because you're scared of messing it up, or you may have fallen doing a pirouette combo before, a tricky combo. This happens a lot with point work, where girls are so scared because they might fall. You kind of got to fall. That's what rehearsal time is for. That's what the studio is for. Let yourself fall. This fear factor is something that I'm really struggling with at the moment, because I'm constantly scared when I'm teaching that if I do a pirouette, I'm going to stumble out of it. I'm not going to do it well. And the odds are I'm probably not going to do it well. If I do a pirouette for you now, yeah, I came out of it. I'm scared of looking silly or of looking crap and not like I'm a good dancer. When the fact is, I'm not being hired to be a dancer at the moment. I'm a teacher. I don't need to demonstrate everything brilliantly. My students know that my ankles are not good at the moment. I'm not strong like I used to be because I'm not young like I used to be. I'm 38 in dancer years, that's all. So that's my fear. I have students who have fear from a different angle. Some of my adult students, their fear comes from the fact that they've never done this before, and their bodies are like, what? Why would I do that? Why would I start spinning around on my toes? Why would I? No, I don't want to do that. So you've got to really conquer the fear and trust your technique. So when you're preparing for a turn, I'm going to go to the other foot so I'm not killing that one. When you're preparing for a turn, don't be focusing on what could happen and the negatives that could happen. Just focus on what's going to help you get around. So I know on this foot, this is what the really bad Achilles tendon. This one, no, having some problems. So I'm going to focus on my technique. I know I can't rely on the ankle to do its thing, and I also know it's going to hurt a little bit. So I don't want to focus on the fear of falling over, the fear of being silly, of looking silly. Focus on the things that are actually going to help you do the turn, and just do it. Just do it, because pirouettes need a bit of push and force, especially if you're doing two or more. Singles don't really need force. All your other pirouettes, they need force. I don't mean force as in like forcing the muscles. I mean force from a physics point of view. You need to give it a push. So you kind of can't do that. You can't just go for it and whip if you're scared. So practice them and let go of the fear. Acknowledge the fear, figure out why you're scared, and then focus on the things that are going to help you overcome that fear. Okay, so they are my pirouettes no-nos. There are heaps of other no-nos when it comes to pirouettes. But I don't know why I just did that. But they're the 5 that I find from watching at comps and things. They're the 5 I see a lot of, and I think they're the 5 we really need to focus on. But share your pirouette no-nos in the comments. Hit the subscribe button, please, 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 please. If I get to 1,000 subscribers, I can start making money from my YouTube channel. So please help me out. Hit the thumbs up if you liked this, and please share this with your fellow dancers and dance teachers, and let's help each other out by getting as much information out to each other as we can. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.